Hello viewer, thanks for having a click on this video featuring headbutts from a 3/4 angle. 3/4 view is, in my books, ranked the second hardest out of the three of the main angles, the third being the front view. We will be practicing, like last time, with two different species, except this time for each they'll be facing in opposite directions, just to give a little more of a challenge. So in this sketch, I'll also be sharing a technique you may or may not know that can help greatly with getting proportions correct. So, I'm excited for that. So who should I draw today? Let's see. Maybe a wolf girl would suffice. I'd say that's pretty appropriate. So just like before, let's just start with a nice sketchy circle. Does not have to be perfect by any means. Nice, smooth, quick strokes. This is a sketch, but I still like to just clean up a little bit so it's not all over the place. Okay. So last time, let's see. Once we drew this circle, we started with the head shape. But for the 3/4 view, and most likely the front view as well, we'll be doing something a little different. We will be starting with the shape of the eyes, because the eyes can prove a pretty good reference for the rest of the head. Of course you don't have to do this, but in this video I guess I can do both. Let's hope that I can remember. Anyway, we're just going to have a line going through the middle here. This will just be our main reference for positioning the eyes. Now let's say this character is facing this way, facing left, or to their right. If they are facing this way, there's something you should keep in mind. Or I guess this applies to both directions. We're just going to first start real quick with the eye references. Just an oval for this side of the face, and a more circular shape for this eye. So basically, whichever eye is closer to, the side of the face in which the muzzle is facing the same direction as, that eye will be squished more along the sides. So if you'll notice that this eye right here is thinner than this one. Clean up a little bit. Just going slow for you guys. So there you go. Our character will not be wearing glasses. It's just a good reference for the eyes. But we're going to carry on from there to the muzzle real quick. This is a wolf, so the snout won't be necessarily as sharp as foxes. I guess what I could do here is make it a little less refined and just possibly help you guys out by making it look like some kind of a shape. A very simple polygon here. I might have said before, I'm envisioning your character on a 3D plane, or feels like a 3D model or something, could help quite a bit, because the body is basically, or can be, just separated into pretty simple shapes, and once you have those shapes down, you can start just refining it to a smoother shape, get rid of all the hard edges and such, but not completely just yet. So yeah, basically from the main circle, it's almost like an attachment, the muzzle. So once we have that down, this character is a bit chubby, so we're not going to make the skull, very defined or anything. It's going to be quite a bit of fur on there. Wolves usually have quite a bit of fur. So what should we do next? I guess we can go along the jaw now. Going here, just a little bit of a flat line. Then make a nice curved line up here. You can see things starting to take form thanks to the circle we made. Go along this side too. Which will be close to the eye on this side compared to this side, if you'll see that. It's all about the perspective, so once you have that down, it's not too difficult, really. So just slap on the nose here. It's just a simple diamond shape, although wolves do have rather large noses, so just make them a little bigger than usual. Fill that, and there we go. Now what I like to do, of course, is add a little highlight here by erasing a part of the nose. That should be good enough. So now that we got the jaw done, we can just draw the mouth on here. This is usually the shape of a canine's mouth at this point. It's just a nice upside down V, along with a little line coming down from the middle of the nose. And then just a smile. Now this would be good for a wolf, but let's see. For a fox it would be, or the smile would be a lot more towards, or a lot more upwards, I should say. So it would be like this, just to give the muzzle a lot more of a thin look. But a wolf's muzzle is quite big in almost all dimensions. So we'll have the smile just a little more downwards toward the jaw, this way. Okay, that should be good enough. So I guess I can just draw something here real quick in comparison. Like a fox's muzzle, sharper, just a lot more thin. Kind of like that. But the wolf's muzzle is a lot more round, almost. So there you go. So now we can go up here. This will be a good reference for the ear, along this area. Just erase that and connect it up with that. Oh, this side can be quite tricky. Hold on. Our circle reference might not be, well, it can be pretty helpful, but it won't be this high. When you come along this side, the forehead will start to just slope downwards like this. And then you can start straightening it out along this point. In the end, it looks like a nice curved line, but you just want to make it similar to this part right here. And then just make another curved line sprouting out of that and into the cheek here. Because of the bigness of her cheeks, we'll be seeing the other one here. I guess I can try experimenting with something smaller, but that would seem pretty disproportionate with the other cheek. Okay. There you go, that's the forehead, so I guess a wolf's forehead is also nicely sloped, kind of like a fox's. Not as flat, I would say, perhaps. But yeah, just reference off of the top of the circle and just move it down a little bit, because you want a nice average size space between the top of the eyes and the scalp. So get rid of that. It's looking pretty primitive so far. There you've got a nice little shape here. Yeah, just reference the forehead to the middle of the eye reference we made with these little ovals here. And then once you get to the middle of the eyes, just start to round out this part to give form to the cheeks. I hope that's understandable just a little bit. Not very good at explaining this part, it's pretty challenging, but I hope it is something. But anyway, let's start with the ears now. It's not too difficult. We made these straighter lines up here. Those will be a good reference to start with the ear. So just a nice triangle shape. You don't have to get exactly in the middle of the skull shape. There should be a bit of a gap between the ears, of course. Unless the head is very furry, in which case it would be kind of hard to notice that there is a gap in the first place. But yeah, get rid of this line right here, just get rid of it. Just to give a little more depth. Make it look a little less flat. Give the ear a nice shape here, just another upside down V shape. I might have said diamond before, I meant an upside down V. Yeah, just a curve towards the bottom to make this part of the ear a little bigger. Once again, just to give it more shape. Just make some quick strokes in here for the fluff. And you can start in the next ear. Getting pretty close towards the words there. Yeah, in comparison to just making another V outline inside of, or a V within a V, it doesn't look too bad, I guess. But when you get alongside the bottom of the ear, usually it just opens up and just slides into the shape of the head there to make something really nice and smooth. Okay, we are getting to a good point here. Next, we can start with the eyes. So this character also has relatively large eyes, but let's see, what kind of a shape is this? How should I explain this? Let's erase that. Guess you could call it just a sideways U, along with just a curved line at the end there. Lashes. Of course, usually the iris would be more of a circle shape. But since this is the 3/4 view, it will be squished like this eye is going to be right here. Just slightly, though. At the pupil there. I'm going to do the little highlight thing I mentioned in the last video. Just erase a little part of that after adding in those slash marks. At the tear duct. Eyebrow can be pretty subtle on a female. Whichever you want. And we do this eye pretty much the same way. And since our character is facing this way, the lashes would point in the same direction usually. Find that a little bit. Add a little detail here for the eye. The eyelid, I should say. Even with eyes this big, I would put the presence of eyelid just up here. Usually it would be like in this shape. But since we are just trying to make the shape blend in with the head a little more, we're just going to omit a lot of that curved line. I suppose that's okay. Just make the curved line a little... There we go. Not sure whether that's concave or convex, but just a little wider. A lot less tight. So we can start with the hair now. Her hair is kind of nice and free-flowing. So just like the little bits of fur on the ear, just nice quick strokes, be fine. So I usually like to add little bits of fur sticking out the size of the head, just to give that presence. And maybe make the chin a little fatter. I think I kind of messed up there a little bit. There's the hair. Free flowing along the back as well. Her hair goes down to the bottom of her shoulder blades, I would say, but of course we're not going to really see that from this angle. Her little neck here, which can be a nice cylinder shape. Since she's a little chubby, make it larger than usual. Just add a very subtle bump along the neck. Something I like to do to give more depth and shape to the muscles is slash marks, just hatching. And that's what this type of this shading is called. And then to give even more depth, I like to add even more under this part of the jaw. Just give it that more 3D look. I can tell after we do our little technique here that I'm about to show you, it might look a little strange. Yeah, 80% of the time you do that, I'd say it will definitely look strange. But it's definitely a good technique as well. There's a little bust, okay. Won't go further than that. Okay, so now that we have that finished, let's go ahead and take this, move it out of the way. Let's take our wolf girl here. Or I shouldn't copy it, I'm not sure what I'm doing there, but yeah, just select it. If you're using Manga Studio Pro, just click this button right here to do a free transform mode or whatever it's called. And over here, just press this button to flip the image horizontally. There. By doing this, you will usually notice there are some proportions off from your picture. This isn't usually what I go through for the 3/4 view, but for the front view it is very important, for me at least, because I will definitely, most of the time, find something wrong. But I guess I can see something wrong here. It's good for the most part, which I'm actually pretty happy about. I guess the shape of this ear right here might be a little strange. Not sure how to explain it, but just a quick little edit there. Let's see what else. Yeah, the eye. They're not aligned very well. Oops, what did I just do there? So what I guess I'll do is just bring this one down. Add a little line here to define the end of the muzzle. Okay. I'm actually surprised that this turned out good for the most part. I guess we'd keep it like this. We're pretty much done with the wolf girl. So there you go. Let's move on to another feline. Let's see. Yeah, start with another circle. We're going to start from the right this time. Okay, where to go from here? I started with the eyes before, so I guess we can start with the head shape, although it is a little more difficult than starting with eyes, in my opinion. Because you'd have to just get the head shape properly in this 3/4 view, and that can be difficult without any better reference aside from the basic circle here. I mean, you'll see people just doing all sorts of lines across the head and everything. It's not really necessary for me, so I can't really help you there, but the basic circle is enough for me. Now, I'm not sure if the scalp will be this high necessarily. Could move it down just a little bit for precaution. This is a cat. They usually have more squished heads from the top and bottom than a wolf or something. But yeah, we're just omitting the eyes here and pretending we see them right now. I'm just trying something different. You don't have to do it this way. So just something very basic. Move along here. This part right here that I'm doing, where it goes inward like this, would be where the where their left eye is. Their left. Usually my Anthros do have quite a bit of cheek fur, so the skull wouldn't be too defined. So yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good shape. It curves this way for the jaw. Can be a little more flat. And then a sharp curve down to the chin. Once again, this is our good reference point for the ears. Just the straight line along the eye line over here. I guess eye line is a good term for that. Okay. Yeah, a little bit harder. You have to guess a lot more. So I would prefer the first thing we did here, but oh well. Start positioning the eyes. Does not have to be perfect by any means. I guess, yeah, they can be spread out this much. Might not be a problem. It might. Yeah, we'll have to see. The horizontal flipping is definitely a good or a great tool for getting that proportion correct. So now that we got the basic head shape and the eye positioning, we can extend this part for a muzzle. Of course, it won't be as long as a wolf's. Just be something nice and curved here, but I guess I could draw out the whole thing. Kind of like wearing a doctor's mask or something. I can already tell this is somewhat out of proportion, but yeah, don't forget, the nose is relatively close to the eyes for cats. A lot more so than a canine, I'd say. Or some canines. Okay, basic nose shape for a cat. We're gonna leave it white. Have little nostrils here and maybe a line in here just to define it more. That's a nice detail I always like to add. Move the eye a little bit to the left. That just seems very off to me. And then, like the wolf girl, they will have this upside down V for mouth, the starting point. Okay, how am I going to explain this? The curve of the rest of the mouth is a slight distance further from the eyes, unlike a canine. At least for the cat character. Now the chin looks like it's sloping inward a little too much. Yeah, like I said, you're guessing a lot with the head shape here, and usually it might turn out wrong. So just, there you go. Smooth out in this direction. I hope you guys saw that. I'm finding it hard to explain exactly what I did there, but we'll keep the cheeks defined for now. Perhaps make the curve down into the cheekbone a little lower, like this. Eventually we're going to flare it out. Okay, next, ears. Oops. Leave a gap between the ears. I'd say about this will be fine. So another good thing is to make sure they're about the same width. That would be a good reference point to where to start and stop, or when the ear shape reaches the head. So for cats, I like to make the ear look a little more thin by obscuring the additional V shape within the ear. If you'll see that. Like usually I'll do this, but for cats I usually don't. Add a little tuft of fur. This character is, or does not have any hair. Add the ear fluff. There you go. Add some detail along the eye line. Yeah, we're just gonna... Let me try and explain something. Like this thing here, I have a feeling I didn't explain that very well. Once you get a good shape for the eye socket in its entirety, there's a protrusion along this part that you wouldn't see in this eye particularly because of the view, but on the edge of the head here, you would definitely see that. It's just for the brow, basically. So along the middle part of this strange sharp curve, that's where you would reference the brow most of the time. So let's see. Let me try something. I'll have the brow in that shape. Just a nice upward curved line. This is a good way to reference exactly how to make that shape. And if there to be the brow were to be shaped like this, that would also be a good way to see exactly how it should be shaped and where the curved line should be. Although, yeah, there's also the eyelid there. You'll see. It's just a little half circle. Of course, doesn't have to be shaped perfectly like a half circle, just omit a lot of it to make it shape in with the head a lot better. I guess I might as well start with the eyes. The eyelids are down a little more, or at least I'm drawing it that way. So you will most certainly see that shape taking form. You know, when their brows are down this low, this is really the only thing you have to do for the eyelids, is just draw this curved line here. You could do it this way too. I don't know. I think that's a little too defined for my tastes, but... Okay, so the brows are going down this way, so the flesh around here, I'd say it would start to crease together. And then the top of the muzzle, just add a couple curved lines. Okay. Just add the irises. Now, I mentioned before that I was going to add some more shape to the cheeks, so let me go ahead and do that right now. It's going to be the shape of a sideways V, basically. So now that we've got that side extended, obviously this side now looks a little strange. So we need to kind of match it up to... Right. I'm not exactly sure how to do this properly without flipping the image, just to make sure they're both... the size of both of the cheeks complement each other. I'd say that's a little close to what we want, although eventually we're going to flip it and see what's wrong. Tear ducts, I forgot about that. I'd say that's good for the most part. Nice male cat for you. Just add the neck stuff. If I get around to explaining the entire body as a whole, expect some issues on my end, because unlike a lot of other people, my skeletons are not nearly as detailed. Like, you'll see people drawing circles and such, referencing the neck, the shoulders, the top of the shoulders, the arm length, that sort of thing, but I don't really do that. I just make shapes out of the entire body and make adjustments as I go. Sorry if that's not your style, but there you go. Let's see. Make the ears a little more down, because I'm just going to simulate the shape of it across the head. Get rid of those lines and bring the ear down over there. Okay. Now, it's time to flip it and see what we did wrong. Retransform. Flip horizontally. Okay. Not too bad, I guess. This line right here has a very awkward slope compared to this one. So we're just gonna make it fatter. Just like that. I guess we can also make the chin a little larger and make the curve less sharp. Okay. He's looking pretty feisty, I'd say. Now, if you're still not sure if it looks good, just flip it back. Okay, I'd say that's quite good, actually. Flip it again. So there you go, a wolf and a cat. Maybe the nose is a little off. Just move it to the left a little bit. Get nice and straight, kind of like this. So I'm going to draw a line here to simulate the shape of the head in this specific portion. So it curves out like this. And then it goes a little straight along the middle of the eyes, and then once the muzzle comes out, it just goes like this. Oops. Okay, that was kind of a mess up in between the nose and the mouth there. But you get what I mean. I'm going to draw this line here to give more shape to the cheek. He's chewing on something now. Some lines for the shadowing. Alright. I'd say this turned out pretty good. I hope this helped you guys out quite a bit, even though I have trouble explaining certain things about this part of the body. I hope that I cleared some things up. Maybe this part's, a little too big. Although we're not really focusing on the neck, although we're doing a little bust, but still, we're mainly focusing on the head. Okay. I don't really see any more problems, or at least I don't. Of course, someone else might. I mean, I've spent a little bit of time drawing these, so I tend to miss out on incorrect proportions. But yeah, we flipped these, and it seems to be good for the most part, so I don't really have any other complaints. Let's see. Maybe the irises aren't shaped exactly the same, but we're not going to worry about that. You guys get the picture of that. Okay. I honestly think that's a good stopping point for this video. So there's the 3/4 view. I hope I helped out with something. Hope it looks good overall. But next up, we will be... Excuse me. We'll be drawing the front view, which is going to be a lot of fun, because the horizontal flimming will be a lot more helpful there, honestly. It's really tough to make it symmetrical. I heard there's a symmetry function for Manga Studio 5, but I'm not going to experiment with that for now. I'm just going to draw it like I usually do. So yeah, that will definitely be pretty fun and challenging. So I hope to see you guys then, and please like the video if you liked the video and if it helped you out a little bit. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next part.